Oriental versus Occidental mindset. Abba does everything on purpose and with a plan, choosing those of an Afro-Asiatic or Eastern mindset and culture during a particular time in history. It was done for our example. Now, some watching are Christians, and some of us have come through Christianity, and we were taught to believe that the Old Testament examples were presented merely as examples of what not to do. And though that's partially true, Israel, as a set apart people in the land, have maintained their presence in this world by the mercy and grace of Abba, as they've wisely preserved an Oriental mindset in their approach to culture, to the scriptures, to the maintenance of the land, and to one another. We are the one people and culture that Abba has promised to preserve. It says in Genesis 25:5-6 that Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. There is an ancient Hebrew tradition that teaches that the gifts which Abraham gave in Genesis 25:5-6 to the children of his concubine Keturah were actually spiritual symbolic teachings or soul level understanding of Abba's mind. And what this means is that there was a meditative or contemplative, intended, purposeful way of thought that was given from Abraham to the people of the East, which preceded the formation of the house of Israel. As a result of their dispersion and as part of losing that spiritual connection with Abba, the Yehudim developed a left brain, linear, individualistic thought process, and in essence shows us that they were rectifying the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which was damaged most on the left side. Now, according to the sages, according to the tradition, Rabbi Abba stated, I once found myself in a town inhabited by descendants of the children of the East. And they imparted to me some of the wisdom of antiquity with which they were acquainted. They also possessed some books of their wisdom, and they showed me one in which it was written that according to the goal which a man sets himself in this world, so does he draw to himself a spirit from on high. If he strives to attain some holy and lofty object, he draws that object from on high to himself below. But if his desire is to cleave to the other side, and he makes this his whole intent, then he draws to himself from above the other influence. They said further that all depends on the kind of speech, action, and intention to which a man habituates himself. For he draws to himself here below, from on high, that side to which he habitually cleaves. So, in essence, whichever path we choose, heaven helps us. So, may the wisdom of Abba direct us, and may we cultivate hearts of humility, which brings me to my next statement. So, in order to fight well, in order to gain the mind of Messiah, the heart of the Torah woman must cultivate a heart of meekness, of obedience, of humility to Abba, and then to those within the body whom Abba has placed over her for her spiritual guidance and protection. Thus, in essence, according to the heart's intent, speech, and action, a Torah woman will draw to herself from heaven that side to which she habitually cleaves. She will exhibit the fruit from the tree of life or from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Spiritually good wisdom fruit characterizes humility with accompanying good deeds, as we find in James 3:17. Spiritually bad wisdom fruit characterizes confusion and every evil act, James 3:15. Fruitless endeavors come from a lack of wisdom and thus humility on our part. When we fail to completely surrender to his full counsel in a matter, to his ways, the fruit will be thwarted. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder in every evil practice. Our actions spring from our hearts. Yeshua was quoted in Luke 6:43 as saying that there is not a good tree that produces bad fruit, neither a bad tree that produces good fruit. For every tree is known by its fruits. For they do not pick figs from thorns, neither do they gather grapes from a bush. We must ask for this Shemayim Hakma, this heavenly wisdom, every single day. To try to operate without it for even one day, thinking that using the natural mind in the things of Abba is sufficient, is to prove an arrogant and assumptive heart. It also makes the sister a destroyer. 1 Corinthians 3:16. James 1:5 says, if any man lacks wisdom from above, let him ask. So as humans, we were born into this war. And moreover, as Netzarim people, we simply have entered into more intense battle due to the knowledge and the lifestyle given to us and by which we live as covenant people. We must understand that this battle is not about us, but includes us, and it originated between our king and the enemy. This war is a battle for our souls. More in my next video. Shalom.